Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today, as you can see, I'm in the garage and we're actually closed today because it's bank holiday. But I thought that'd be the ideal opportunity to give you a quick showroom and forecourt tour. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I think the last one was done last summer. So hopefully, I probably should have checked this before I started filming, but I don't think there are any cars still here from last summer. I hope not anyway. Otherwise I wouldn't be very good at my job, would I? Apart from, of course, my SL55, which is going nowhere. So I'll give you a brief tour of the showroom. We haven't got that much in stock in here at the moment, so it shouldn't take too long. And then we'll head outside onto the forecourt. And the forecourt is quite tightly packed at the moment, so there's a bit more to look at. Let's get started then. Actually, before I do, if anyone's interested in getting into the used car business, then check out my online course. I kept getting asked this question loads and loads of times. So about 3 years ago, I created an online portal with nearly 100 videos which explain every single aspect of the used motor trade. So if you are looking to get started in the used motor trade, then check it out. It's still free for the first 30 days and only £27 a month thereafter. And you can cancel any time, there's no lengthy contract. So far I've had hundreds of people join since I started and it's been very well received. I've had some nice positive comments. I'll leave the link below in the video description, so check it out for yourself. But it features everything you could possibly wish to know about starting up. So you've got things like branding, funding, sourcing cars, preparing cars for sale, dealing with customers, all that sort of stuff. It's all featured. So I think it's quite invaluable really. What I was actually thinking of doing was getting in touch with some of the students who've signed up for the course and then going meeting them and having a look around their garage or forecourt and see how they're getting on. It'd be a bit like a low-budget automotive version of the Hotel Inspector, wouldn't it, with Alex Polizzi? Right, anyway, let's start this tour. Well, the first car needs no introduction. It's my 2002 Mercedes SL55 AMG. And I love this car. I've had it for just over 3 years now, actually. It's the longest I've ever had a car. And it's only done 18,000 miles. As you can see, I've got it on trickle charge as we speak. I don't use it very often because, well, as daft as it sounds, I don't want to put the mileage on it. It's beautiful. It is like, well, it's like new. I've got mats over mats, obviously. The leather's still matte, the steering wheel's still matte and grainy, and I just love it. It was something of a dream car when I was a kid, so to own one now is such a mint example. I'll never sell this. I might do a video with this. I serviced it recently at SPR. It needs a good wash, actually. I serviced it recently at SPR because it had been, although it's only done about 1,500 miles since I bought it, it hasn't been serviced for 3 years since I last did it. So I've had a service done. They've also done a Lanoguard thing underneath and a few other bits and pieces. New boot struts because they were on the way out. A couple of things, so I might do a video with that. Then over here, avoid all the mess there. Try not to zoom in on that. We've got stacks of wheels and tyres and all sorts of rubbish. Over here we've got a BMW 430 Diesel M Sport. And I bought this from a viewer down south and got it transported up. And it's a lovely car. I was actually out in that yesterday. It's a really nice spec. So it's grey. I can't remember the exact colour name, but it's grey of some description with a black leather interior. And it is exactly how I would spec it. So we've got electric memory seats, powerful mirrors, we've got heated steering wheel, heated seats, and this neck warmer thing. So this actually blows warm air at the back of your neck. So perfect really for this country, because you can still use it in the winter with the roof down. That uses a straight 6 3-litre diesel engine, which I'm not a big fan of diesel convertibles. I think it's nice to have a nice sounding engine, but that 3-litre diesel is a proper powerhouse. So that's that. And weirdly, as nice as this is, I haven't had a single inquiry on it. This is what's really frustrating about this job. You buy something nice like that you think everyone will want, and the phone doesn't ring. And yet you buy something, I'll talk about some of the cars out there in a second, you buy something older that's cheaper and it sells within 24 hours. Same is true actually of this 370Z. Now this came in part exchange against a Volvo S90 that we had. And it's a 50th anniversary edition. I think perhaps the styling isn't everyone's cup of tea. Perhaps that's why we haven't had much interest in it. I thought I'd sold it about 3 weeks ago. And the guy came to look at it and said that the tyres were the original ones and they were a bit perished. So I put 4 brand new Pirellis on, or whatever they should have. Yeah, Pirellis. At a cost of about £1,000, and then he backed out of the deal. So it's got 4 brand new Pirellis on at my expense. And that's only done 12,000 miles. It's done nothing. I did a video with this and it's a really cool car. The only thing that I don't like about it, to open the boot, you can't open the boot off the fob, and there's no button on it either. So you've got to reach in and press that little switch there, which I think is a really poor design from the Japanese, that. So that's that. But they sound awesome. It's plenty quick enough. I would have one. I remember saying that on the video. Over here we've got my pal's Defender. We're just keeping in dry storage for him, really. And that's a really nice example. Cairns blue, and it's only done 50 odd thousand miles. And he really babies it. Then over here, we've got, I love these cars, a Jaguar XKR. That's a 2011, so it's pre-facelift. Now personally, if I buy one for myself, I would want a post-facelift 2012 onwards with the LED lights. But still, I think in silver, it does look really clean. It's quite a classy example, that. I think that one's done, can't remember the exact mileage, I think it's 50 odd. I knew that was going to happen. Sorry if I've just deafened somebody. In fact, should we do a cold start of it? Let's do a cold start. So this has a 5 litre, 500 horsepower supercharged V8. You ready for this? I just love these cars. The interiors, I think, granted the infotainment system's a little bit dated, but the rest of it I think is dated, has aged really well. Start this, you ready? What a noise. Even got a heated steering wheel. And yeah, it's only done 54,000 miles. This one we actually bought from a local lady, actually. It belonged to her late husband, and it was his pride and joy. Bit sad really, but yeah, there we go. I'm going to buy one of those, I think, for myself one of these days. Should we have a look outside then? Excuse all the mess. I'm a little bit embarrassed of this place. That's my office area and it is a bomb site. In fact, I'm not even showing you, it's too embarrassing. Let me show you the forecourt. So first up, we've got a Fiat Tipo. Now I actually bought this from my friend's girlfriend's mother. I think she'd had it from new. It's only done 50 odd thousand miles, and I was going to do a video with this because you don't see many of them. I went to Turkey a few years ago and they were everywhere. The amount of Ubers that I went in that were these, I think they're badged something else. Are they called the Aegea or something there? They're a bit unusual. And this one, being a lounge spec, has got absolutely everything on it. So it's got reverse camera. I mean, look at the legroom. For a little family hatchback, it's quite a good alternative to something like a Ford Focus. Granted, it might not be as reliable, but certainly a little bit different. Over here, now this is one of the few Peugeots that I'd actually have. I quite like the 3008. Obviously not the way it looks, but the way it drives. It's got a split folding tailgate like a Range Rover, and you sit up nice and high. See if I can get my slender frame through the wing mirrors there. But yeah, it needs the mats cleaning. But you sit up nice and high, and everything's kind of wrapped around you, a bit like a Range Rover Sport. This one's quite a good example, quite a good spec. So you've got a panoramic glass roof, you've got head-up display, sat-nav, all that sort of stuff. That's done 48,000 miles. So there's that. Over here, yeah, this is one of those cars that I was telling you about. So I've had more interest on that car than anything else, which is annoying because I shouldn't keep something like that. A 16-year-old Toyota Yaris, done 80. But the reason it's had so much interest is the fact that it's only got 2 pedals. It's an auto. It's one of those hateful semi-autos, but that's all they made in this era of Yaris. And yeah, the phone just keeps ringing off the hook on this car. Not on any of the nicer stuff, just on the stuff like this. It's frustrating. So anyway, such is the job. Then we've got a Fiat 500 here. Now, I love that colour personally. Being a City fan, that's right up my street. This one actually came in part exchange. So it's a Fiat 500S, and it's done 50,000 miles. And it's got the same sort of matching interior as the exterior. Now, I don't think I'd have one myself, but I do quite like those. So that's that. Got the 2 Z4s there. Now, that one I've done a video with already. That's a 6-cylinder, 2.5 litre straight 6. That one's done 40,000 miles, and that has been pampered. Absolutely pampered. I bought that from a viewer over in Blackpool, Fleetwood area. and it was stored in a heated garage. It's absolutely pristine. It's had everything done to it. Done a gearbox oil service, a diff service, full BMW history, proper tyres. It's exactly what you'd want to buy, really. And the other one, now this one's only an SE, so it's got tiny wheels and it doesn't look as good as the sport models, but it's only done, let me show you the mileage because you won't believe me. No, it's not displayed. Anyway, it is done. I can't remember off the top of my head now. My mind's gone blank. It's very low. It's like 18,000 or something. It's really low mileage. So there's that. And I might do a video with those actually. Maybe a comparison between the E85 and the E89. Leave that with me. Over here we've got a very boring looking Insignia, but it's petrol, and it's only done, I think it's only done 30 odd thousand miles. It's quite low. Why is nothing working today when I open the door? Yeah, anyway, 30 odd, so quite low mileage. I just had that one prepped last week, serviced MOT, so that's ready to go. It's not a lot of money really for a spacious family car with no DPF. Then next to it, I actually sold this car. Look at the plates, Romley Garage plates. Actually sold that about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, we just bought it back. Now that's an Astra GTC, which I'm not a huge fan of the Astra, but the GTC, everything's filthy. Look at this. Bit of warm weather and everything just turns gross. The GTC is a really good looking car, I think. Quite sporty, but they're also quite insurable, so popular with youngsters. Over here we've got the Audi SQ5 that I did a video with. Now that's a superb car. 3 litre turbo diesel, quick as you like, and it'll still do 30 odd miles per gallon. Over here, now I detest these cars. I hate them. It's a C4 Picasso semi-automatic, but I bought this in a batch from a local main dealer. And I really didn't want this one at all. This was one of the cars in the batch that I thought, I really don't want this car, I'm just gonna have to trade it. And then when I got it, it's one owner, full main dealer history, done 74,000 miles. And it drives, well, I won't say good because it's a semi-auto C4 Picasso, but it's one of the best ones I've ever driven. Even down to things like, it's got 4 matching Avon tyres with about 6 mil of tread on. It's been looked after really well. So that's why it's here and not at an auction. It's even got, now I can't show you this I don't think because it's, oh maybe, I thought it was parked too close to the showroom window. There we go. It's even got the little shopping bag. That's the sort of condition that this car's in. I've never seen that before. It's just a really clean example. I don't even think I've had this valeted. In fact, just a mini valet in the village. Hasn't even had a full valet. This is how clean it was. Over here, we've got, you might remember this, I did a video with it probably a year ago, 10 months ago, and I sold it to a mate of mine who's just traded it back in against something else. It's a Land Rover Discovery 4, 3 litre turbo diesel, needs a good clean actually. It's a late 2010, early 2011, 60 reg, and it's an HSE, so it's got every option on it that you can imagine. And that has had, well, you'll have watched the video probably, so that's had its cam belt done, gearbox serviced, all the stuff that I preach. You know what, I should have cleaned everything before I did this video, I'm embarrassed. Yeah, it's a nice car that. It's done 147,000 miles, but trust me when I say this, you wouldn't know it to drive it. I think we've got an appointment on that tomorrow actually. Over here now, I was going to do a video with this because I hadn't, well, it's the first one I've ever had in stock. It's a B-Class Mercedes, which isn't that rare, but it's a B250 electric. So it is a complete battery EV. And it's quite quirky to drive. It's only done 38,000 miles. That hasn't all ripped or worn like they usually do. Now, the range is a bit rubbish on this. I think the range, when I charged it in the showroom when I got it, left it overnight, plugged into the wall, and then the next morning I had something like 65 miles range from a full battery. This is from the early days of EVs, really. But still, might be video worthy, mightn't it? What have we got back here then? Ah, right. We've got an Outlander here, diesel Outlander. This actually came in part exchange against the plug-in hybrid Outlander that I did a video with. So this is a one-owner car from new. The previous owner of it needed an automatic, so traded it in with us. This one's obviously a Manuel. Every man and his dog are out on the bikes today. So yeah, it's done 67,000 miles and it's a good spec. I think is it a GX4, do they call it? So it's got heated leather seats, sunroof, all that sort of stuff. I'm not a fan, to be honest, but I've had lots of interest in that already. Over there is the Mini Cooper SD that I did a video with. Now I bought that from a viewer down south, and it's a really nice example. And I can't believe I haven't sold it yet. That must have auto-locked. I've unlocked everything this morning. That must have auto-locked. Yeah. Anyway, I've done a video with that. Full BMW Mini history, 48,000 miles, 49,000 miles. Oh, look at that. That's my VW Transporter camper van with a pop-up top that's currently available on the Raffle Shack website. So I even I spent a night in this for your entertainment. So back there we've got they call it a rock and roll bed or something, I don't know, it's not really my cup of tea. But the roof pops up, we've got a little kitchenette area and a bed big enough for two. And it's done 32,000 miles. And it's even got the, our pal did the conversion on this actually, so it's even got the upgraded, well he's reupholstered it all and put all this badging in and all that sort of stuff. So we've done a nice job of it. That is that. The X1. So that's another one that I need to do a video with because I haven't done a video with that era of X1. Mainly because I'm not a big fan really. I think they look kind of tragic, looks like a clog. And they're from that era of BMW where they try to make the steering as heavy as possible. So everything's just difficult. I might do a video. They don't all have to be positive reviews, do they? As you well know. But yeah, it's a 2-litre diesel automatic. Somebody will buy that just for the badge, which is wrong. But that's the case. Over there we've got a 3-door Audi A3. Now these are good cars. It's rare you see one in its original form like this. Usually they've got 3D plates, black wheels, a grille off an RS3 and no front reg plate. You've seen them all before, haven't you, I'm sure. That's a nice, genuine, clean example, that. And that will be, off the top of my head, £20 a year to tax, or free even. Over there we've got a Mocha. The best thing about that really is the colour. I think this, well, yeah, it came in part exchange. I think it's done 100,000 miles. Yeah, 100 exactly. It came in part exchange and it's a petrol Mocha. And when we got it, it drove quite well. So I thought, well, I may as well keep hold of this. It's decent stock. Nowadays, I think 100,000 miles doesn't seem to put many people off. Well, that's not good. How's that happened? Oh. Right. That has had a bump while it's been on the forecourt. I'll have to have a word with my colleagues about that because I didn't do it. It's popped that out, it's damaged that. Right, I'll have to have a hunt now because there'll be another car somewhere, won't there, with a red scrape down it. That's annoyed me, that, actually. But yeah, that's another example of a 3008. So, see what I mean about the Range Rover tailgate? That needs a good clean. That's disgusting, actually. Perhaps this one hasn't been prepped yet. Falling foul of my own fussy standards here, aren't I? Yeah, this hasn't had a valet, 100%. But yeah, I hate to say this because I don't like Peugeot, but I don't mind the 3008. Quite like the driving position. Over here then we've got a Nissan Leaf. Nissan. I did a video with that recently, which by the time this one goes out, you'll be able to watch this one online. This has got the 59 kilowatt hour battery, so it's got a range of about 200 miles. So far better than the first gen Leaf. Then over here, we've got a VW Golf 2018, late 1868. Now this one's petrol automatic, which is probably the oldest car in stock. It's done 20,000 miles, and this is the frustrating thing about my job. I've done this long enough. I've bought and sold thousands of cars. I thought this was a certified seller, a guaranteed seller, and yeah, it's been here for probably, I don't know, 8 weeks, 10 weeks even. Not had a single inquiry on it, and it's a nice car. It's annoying. That, in my mind, is what everybody wants these days. A 5-door white petrol automatic Golf. And yet, all the interest is on that Yaris on an 07. This has just arrived yesterday, in fact. It's a Mini Countryman, 2017. Quite a nice colour blue with the black wheels. And it's automatic as well. So I don't expect this to be in stock for very long, really. I don't think I've done a video with a Countryman. It's on my list as well. There just aren't enough days in the week. Someone needs to learn how to work a clutch, manual gearbox, don't they? Kia Sportage. These, I always try and stock these because they always sell. This one has got the sunroof and no heated seats. It's got a sunroof, so it must be a KX2 model then. Powerful mirrors. They're good cars. I've done a video with that. Not that particular one, but another one that I had in stock. Over here, I'll show you this first. Mazda MX-5. This actually came in part exchange. It's got the folding metal roof. I've actually sold this, and then the customer changed their mind, so it's still here. But for a 2006 car, so what's that, 17 years old? It's done 68,000 miles. It's a nice clean example, really. Then we've got two Audis here. We've got an A4, which we actually sold to the previous owner, 3 years ago. We actually originally sold this when it had done 12,000 miles. And we've sold it twice since then, in the last 5 or 6 years. So it's now showing 51,000 miles. And yeah, it's a 2-litre diesel S-Line automatic with heated seats, black leather interior. It's a nice car. Next to it, we've got its big brother, which I've done a video with, the Audi A6, which has the same engine, but this one I think has got the later gearbox. It was locked. Must have auto locked, but yeah, I've done a video with that. That one's ULEZ friendly and all that sort of stuff. Oh, it's an Ultra, that's why. So that's only £30 a year to tax, I think, or 20 or 30 quid. And then I think we've got some cars parked over there, over the road, so I'll go and show you those. This year, you know, I need to spend some money on this building. Look at the state of it. I get more and more people as the YouTube channel grows just stopping by for a chat. And I think they're all kind of disappointed when they get here. It's not what you'd expect, is it? The trouble is, well, I've been here for 6 years now. The trouble is, I didn't want all my eggs in one basket, so I've tried to diversify. So any profits that I make, I've been putting into other things, property, other investments, all that sort of stuff, because like I say, I didn't want to get caught out by having all my money in cars, which is fine. But now this place desperately needs an IV drip of some cash because it's just messy, really messy. What I'd like to do one day, to be honest, is buy the whole property from the landlords, because I currently rent it right now. Buy it, knock it down and build a nice purpose-built, custom-made showroom. Perhaps with a flat above it to bring in some extra revenue. And what I would do actually is make it, I've thought about this lots, make the showroom perhaps a metre wider, but then get rid of the office there and the kitchen. So just have it as an oblong shape. That way you'd get a couple more cars on the forecourt, and you'd have a bit more room inside to walk around the cars when you park them, you know, 3 widthways. So that's the plan. That's what I would love to do one day. We'll see. Out the front there, we've got an Igo, 2014 64 new shape Igo, and a Peugeot. Oh, I sold that actually. In fact, check my reviews. the customer left me a stinking review on this. That's a 2009 Peugeot 207 SW station wagon. And not a bad car really, done 80 odd thousand miles. It had a rattle on it. It was the guard or something around the DPF, and it was on back order, so I ordered one of those, got it serviced, MOT'd, all that sort of stuff. She left a deposit on it, the customer, of a couple £100. And then when she came to collect it, there was a chip on the windscreen that she hadn't seen, or it had just happened, or I don't know what happened with that. And then, yeah, she didn't go ahead with it. Kicked off royal about it. And I refused to put a brand new windscreen in for the sake of a chip that wasn't even in the MOT zone. You know, the what do they call it? In the line of sight of the driver. So it was just in the far corner of the passenger side. So I offered £50 to pay her excess. So I said, one day, if you want to put a new screen in it, there's £50 off for your excess. It doesn't affect, you know, claims, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, she didn't, and left me a horrible review. So it's still there. And it's not a bad car. This is what I'm saying about people's expectations. I've done plenty of these videos. People's expectations on used cars are all over the place. That's a 14-year-old Peugeot on 88,000 miles. That's all right for what it is. But I think she was expecting a brand new car. And obviously you're not going to get a brand new car for £3 grand. So anyway, right, let me show you the cars over the road. Right, well over here we've got a nearly new Dacia Jogger, which I might actually do a video with, only because, well, you just don't see them, do you? That's a 2022 and it's done a few thousand miles, so it is like new. So I might do a video with that. It's actually, they've come a long way, Dacia. The interiors aren't as bad as they used to be. They used to be very basic. So that's the Dacia Jogger. Over here we've got a Mercedes GLC. Now I would have done a video with that, but I've done one already with a GLC 43 AMG, so I thought, well, do people really need to see a GLC 220 diesel? Where do you stop? But they're nice cars, those. I was really impressed with the 43. And obviously if you want the economy, then the 220 diesel is probably a better option. But yeah, I like the shape, I like the size. Good cars. Over here we've got a Ford Fiesta. And weirdly, I think this is lose track of the spec. I think it's an Edge or a Studio or something. It's quite a low spec, but it's got air conditioning and powerful mirrors, which must have been an optional extra, I guess. So there's that. That's a guaranteed seller. A black 5-door Fiesta is just one of those things that I never turn down. I need to get the wheel trims painted because they've all started to peel, and it needs a good buff. I've had the mechanical prep done on that, but not the cosmetic stuff. So it does need a good buff. You can see the little fine marks in it. I think once that's been done and the trims have been painted, it should look like new. Now over here, I bought this from a viewer down south. This has just landed yesterday, and it's quite a quirky little thing, this. It's a 2-litre GT turbo diesel, new shape Beetle, with the diamond cut wheels, automatic. It's done 90,000 miles, which is a bit higher than I'd liked, but it's got full service history, cam belt done, all that sort of stuff. And it's that nice colour, I don't know what they call it, but it's almost like the Audi denim blue that they used to do on the old TTs. So, I do quite like that era of Beetle. A bit more masculine than the early ones. Then we've got my E250 that I did a video with recently, which I need to run it back to my workshop and have a look at that front suspension because it just looks too low. It's past an MOT, so I thought, well, I'm not going to mention anything. I'll just see if they find a cracked spring or something, but it's just sitting too low, that. Doesn't look right. So I'm thinking what could have happened, it could have snapped the springs perhaps at the top, out of the line of sight of my mechanic. Saying that doesn't really make sense because there's no clunking or anything from it. And usually when you have a cracked spring, you get that horrible sort of doing noise. Anyway, that's that. And then this Astra has just arrived. That's an automatic estate. So that's a guaranteed seller as well. It's in a good colour. I've had the wheels refurbished. A little bit of bodywork here because there are a couple of scuffs on it. So that's been done. And ready for its new home. So that's that. But yeah, look at the state of this building. So scruffy, isn't it? You can just imagine what that would look like knocked down with a nice new glass showroom on it. Right, well I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.